You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
"Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?"
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
"Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music."
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
"Hey, Meta, call Eva."
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, "Hey, Meta," to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Make someone's holiday unforgettable with the Vizio 50-inch 4K Smart TV, now just $238 at Walmart. Experience stunning clarity that brings movie marathons to life like never before. With Watch Free Plus built in, enjoy free live and on-demand TV right out of the box. Plus, stream all your favorite holiday songs with the iHeartRadio app. Whether it's a gift for a friend or an upgrade to your own setup, this 4K TV offers impressive features that still fit your holiday budget. Don't wait. Get your Vizio 50-inch 4K Smart TV at Walmart for just $238 today.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This December, get cozy on the couch with Charlie's Angels starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Looper starring Bruce Willis and Emily Blunt. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.
Alrighty, here comes the analyst for the Minnesota Vikings Radio Network, Pete Bercich, courtesy of Soukup and Soukup.com. The analyst was all wound up last night about the officials. Sam, he's hit as he throws incomplete. It nearly was intercepted.
They're ruining a fumble.
They are?
Yes, I hate when they just do that, Paul. They just let it rule a fumble, so that way
on the field is a fumble.
Yeah, so you get the replay.
Recovered by the defense.
Yeah, if this stands, which it won't, because the ball was not loose when his arm came forward.
Right.
They're going to overturn this and say it was an incomplete pass, but this
that's incomplete.
How many times have we seen this year?
Yeah.
Where the referees just swallow their whistle because they know they're going to get the replay because it is ruled a turnover.
After review,
yeah,
it's an incomplete pass.
That's
It'll be second down.
And it's garbage because the defense could recover it, make a return, then our offensive guys have to, the guys get hurt. We saw what happened to Brian O'Neill a couple years back. It just drives me absolutely batty that these officials won't step up and just make a call.
Oh, that pisses me off. That pisses me right off.
Good morning, Mr. Analyst.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty well. That it was a charged game last night. We just heard some comments you had about the officials. I agree with all of it. As a former Vikings player and coach, and now in booth analyst, you take great satisfaction when the Minnesota Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers, don't you?
Yeah, I almost to the point where if Coach O'Connell and the team were to go 2-15 and both wins were against Green Bay, I'd be all right with it. Seriously.
With the officiating last night, the incomplete pass terrorism there. In my drive-bys, I asked Harrison Smith about that weird situation where we couldn't figure out why he got flagged. And then he mentioned something outside of the tackle box, didn't completely agree with it, didn't want to get fined, and basically told me to move on to the next question.
Yeah, that's a rule that was put in place when teams would run screens, and when you run a screen, sometimes you can get a lineman out in the flat or outside the tackle box on the edge, and you have a 330-pound guard barreling down on a cornerback. So even back in our day with Antoine Winfield and all that, they would just come in and cut the legs out cut the legs out from underneath the lineman, because you're not going to. What else are you going to do? Run around them? I mean, it's the only other choice that you have. And if you pick the wrong side, then you're giving up a big play. So for safety reasons, they said that's no longer you can no longer do that, which I agree with. But the contact it's kind of like the how would I say it? The theme of the rule, so to speak, or the essence of the rule, is when you see a defender come up and just cut an offensive lineman. And that is not at all, not even close to what Harrison Smith did. He contacted He contacted the lineman right around, at the chest level, and then kind of slid down. So that's not a safety issue. It's not. It's not what that rule was intended for. Now, the Patrick Jones thing, that was completely legal because that's inside the box. That's a tight end on a defensive lineman. That kind of stuff happens all the time. So, Patrick his body position was kind of funky in that situation. He could have done, I think, a little bit more to protect himself. But that's unfortunate. So, and then, if you're an offensive player, you don't want to be known as that guy, right? To be cutting people all the time. And I'm trying to remember the center for the Packers for such a long time back in the day with Favre. He would cut everybody. That's all he would do. But
Winters?
Frank Winters. Everybody knew he was that's how he was. He was just, cheap, so to speak. On film, they look the same, if not worse, but it's a different situation. So it was, again, the essence of the rule is when you see a DB fly up and just cut the legs out from underneath a lineman. And that was nowhere near what happened. And then to tack that 15 yards onto that play, that's a big part of the game. It was one of the bigger offense. You move it in the first half or early in the game. They weren't moving the ball very well, and that was a huge deal for them to get that extra 15 yards.
Manufacturing Elite Football Conversation with Pete Bercich at Pete Bercich via Twitter, and this is courtesy of Sukup and Sukup.com. Into the equation now that things have settled in. Do you feel the Vikings kind of dominated Green Bay yesterday?
Early on, yeah, and I think that there were some opportunities to really put them away. The missed field goal, I think, is to make that score 30 would have changed the dynamic of that thing quite a bit toward the end. I don't know, Paul. Dominate's kind of a strong word. It's weird how you get two wins, which you haven't done since 2017, and in both wins you had a 17-point lead or more going into halftime, right? Not going into halftime, but right in the third quarter at some point. So it's just bizarre how we just come out, put points up, and then they slowly work their way back into it. So dominate, I don't know. We've bested them twice, and I think we deserve to win both games. I don't think in either game we got lucky to win. So I think I would leave it at that. I wouldn't quite use the word dominate.
What impressed you with Darnold yesterday?
Moving around in the pocket, being comfortable in the pocket, and I think with one of the touchdowns that he threw to Jordan Addison, and I don't know if this is a planned thing or if it's something that they've learned to do, so to speak. But Darnold in the pocket steps up. As soon as he steps up, you see Addison pivots and runs the wheel to the end zone, and Darnold hits him for the touchdown. You have to be able to move around in the pocket and keep your eyes down the field. I thought the offensive line played well. We give up almost 3 sacks a game on average. They only got to him once, and this Packer defensive line is very, very good. I mean, they put 9 guys out there, and all 9 of them are capable. There isn't a bad guy in that bunch. Very, very solid. This defensive line beat the tar out of Seattle. They're a really, really good group, and only let them get to Darnold one time. Protection was spot on, and I mean responsibility wise, running backs. Edgerrin Cooper he's a beast, right? But when he was blitzing in A gaps, they took care of him. So. But for Darnold, my point is for Darnold to stay calm in the pocket and keep his vision down the field and be able to make those types of plays. He's continuing to impress me there. Not a lot of interceptions. He was hit when he was thrown and the ball bounced around a few times. We were lucky we didn't get one of those intercepted as well. But I think Darnold, he's just unflappable. After that pick, he came back and threw some passes in tight coverage. He's not letting what happened the series before affect him on the next one. And that's that veteran maturity quarterback play that you long for when you're dealing with a rookie or you're dealing with a backup, right? And we're getting this out of Darnold in less than one season. So it's just fantastic to watch.
Bradbury got 2 guys on that screen touchdown to Cam Akers. I mean, Big Boy was out there mashing, and that's, like when people will get after certain facets of the Minnesota Moving Company, the other side of the equation needs to be factored in. Like, when Bradbury is put in that position to get out in space, specifically on screens, he's high end, isn't he?
He is, and that's Bradbury. That's why I think it's important. It was a good move to be able to bookend him or handcuff him to Blake Brandel, because Brandel is a 6'5". He's a huge body. So you have a big body next to a very athletic center. And that I think that helps Bradbury out quite a bit to do what he does best. But to get him out on the edge in space, to make those two blocks, there aren't many centers that can do that. I remember when we drafted him, that was the whole thing. He's very, not huge, not a mauler, or a road grader, but at the same time, a very, very good athlete. So getting him out there on the edges is important. And that play with the missed tackles by Green Bay, that was, I think, a result of just the defense being on the field for a long time. And I know I harp on time of possession this year, and I think it's a huge factor with this team and with the defense. Because when our defense is on the field too long, the arm tackles start happening and we give up some bigger plays. It's kind of like a snowball effect. And then conversely, you wear a defense out a little bit early, and then you get Cam Akers in there who's smooth. He's smooth as silk, and he's a tough guy to bring down. He's not an easy tackle. So you get him out on the edge and get Bradbury out there, and next thing you know, you get yourself a touchdown. So well designed and well executed. It's playing to the strengths of our team and the players that we have, and I love it.
When 45 seconds, you get it all. When do you start deep diving the Lions? When do you start really thinking about that game?
About 9 o'clock, 8:30 this morning.
All right.
It was Monday. This is Monday. You already start looking down the line. So unfortunately, the only film is the Bears game.
Right.
So yeah, tonight will be excellent to watch. It's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Right.
Just strategically. You turn on the film and you look at the defense and you recognize almost no one, but they still find a way to get down. And they played single high safety against the Bears almost at least the entire beginning of the game, and you just can't do that against us. So I don't know what they're going to do defensively against us. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. And the more people get hurt, it seems like the more aggressive they are. So they just pin their ears back and blitz. So maybe a situation where we're going to have to you're going to have to block them up and burn them.
Well, if you happen to be around the facility tomorrow, 9 to noon, we'll be there for O'Connell at 11 o'clock. And either tomorrow or later in the week, we would love to hear what you have uncovered with the kiddies via film. Thank you, Pete.
Sounds good, Paul. Thank you.
Pete Bercich, analyst for the Vikings Radio Network. Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com. Generally on Wednesday, but no 9 to noon on Wednesday. So PFT, that's around the corner on KFAN.
Head over to NFLShop.com for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLShop.com.
Yo, Michael, thanks for the flexibility. How are you?
I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
Right on, buddy. Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, NBC's Football Night in America. No show Wednesday. So Mike is kind enough to join us now. And the Minnesota Vikings swept the Green Bay Packers for the first time since 2017. Sunday night, Detroit, the 1 seed. Will you be in attendance, given it is Football Night in America?
Well, we have not taken the regular season show on the road in 14 years. The only other time since I've been at NBC that we've taken everyone to a regular season Sunday night game was when it was Vikings-Eagles the Sunday game that got snowed out and delayed by 2 days. We all went down to Philly by train, and we all did the game from there. So the entire show is going to Detroit for one of the biggest regular season games in NFL history. I was stunned when they said it. I thought maybe they'd send 2 or 3 people. We are all going, and it is going to be nuts.
That's awesome. I get to see you on the field before the game. All right, Darnold now has 35 touchdowns and counting. That's 2 more than Brett Favre in the 2009 season as first-time starters for a new team go. Do you think there are teams salivating to get a hold of Sam Darnold next season?
I just had a flashback to that season, which culminated in one of us on this conversation, yelling, "This is not Detroit, this is the Super Bowl." Mm-hmm. Who would have ever dreamed that there would be a game in Detroit between the Vikings and the Lions after 126 meetings in the regular season dating back to 1961, 2 games a year, every year except 1982 when there was only one due to the strike that shortened the season to 9 games, that a game between the Vikings and the Lions would be so pivotal, would be so significant, would be one of the biggest games we've ever seen in the NFL regular season. To answer your question, teams will be salivating for him, but there's no way he's going anywhere else. There's no way. It's clear now. Whether it's new contract, whether it's franchise tag, whatever it is, he's not leaving. He doesn't want to leave. How could he want to leave? After yesterday, that scene with him in the locker room getting doused with all the water bottles, and it was great because Coach Kevin O'Connell, standing back with a smile on his face, he told the world, "I did this. I made this happen. I nurtured, I hyped, I persuaded, and now look at what's happened. He's reached his potential." I really think it happened in the second half of the game against the Cardinals where something happened. The corner was turned, and they've been sprinting forward ever since then.
If tonight, Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, author of several books, including Father of Mine and Son of Mine. Learn about that at ProFootballTalk.com. If Dan Campbell plays his best players tonight, given Sunday matters more, seriously, is that coaching malpractice?
Well, here's where it's problematic. One of the reasons Bill Belichick was the arguable greatest coach in NFL history, he came up with an approach to every game that was based upon who the opponent is and what it would take to score more points than them. And he adapted his game plan. He adapted his style. He did what he had to do to win each game. Now, the Lions dramatically needed a culture shock, and they got one in Dan Campbell with his kneecap-biting, moldy bread ways. The problem is you have to know when to modulate. You have to know when to deviate. We saw it last year in the NFC Championship, up 17 points at halftime. 49ers drive down, get field goal, cut it to 14. Lions driving, they could have kicked or at least attempted. Who knows if they would have made it, but a 48-yard-ish field goal. Instead, they go for it on 4th and 2 because that's what they always do. That's our identity. That's what we do. And instead of going back up by 3 scores, they, number one, keep it at 2 scores. Number 2, give the 49ers a kick in the butt. Number 3, open the door for the 49ers to come back and win the game. And afterward, well, this is what we do. That's what we do. We're aggressive. That's what we do. That's who we are. You have to know when to not be who you are. You have to be flexible enough to be strategic. You have to, at certain times, play the angles necessary to finish the game with more points. And in a situation like that, 2-score game versus 3-score game is a gigantic difference. So this idea that they're going to play their starters tonight, that's who they are. That's what we do. That's who we do. We go for it. We go for it. We go for it. Well, you know what? Go for it, and good luck if a key player tears an ACL tonight or suffers some other injury that makes him just not available on Sunday. Short week, Monday night game in California. Short week. So, some people think that he's just blowing hot air, and when it's time to play the game, he'll behave differently, and maybe he'll pull some guys out after the first half or whatever. I don't know. I believe it because that's who he is. He's authentic, and that's who he is. He's hard-headed. He's stubborn, and it's helped the Lions transform their identity, but it may be the thing that keeps them from reaching their potential.
What'd you think about the Packers?
Well, I thought that should have been a hell of a lot worse than 27-25. I mean, you look at the game, how lopsided it was from total yardage, yards per play, total plays. Second time, as you know, you've been at both of them, 28-0, 27-10, and the foot slips off the gas pedal, and back come the Packers, and then the Vikings have to scramble to get the foot back on the pedal to finish the job. And I like that because I think those moments create greater confidence that when you got to have it, you'll get it. And, you know, that drive to ice the game with the rollout pass on first down that gets another first down, and then after 2 runs go nowhere, the pass to Cam Akers that he somehow catches that ices the game. That's great. So the Packers have a lot of fight. They have a lot of spirit. They could be a problem if they have to go to Philly because they could slip all the way to the 7th seed. They'll be a problem wherever they go in the postseason. And, you know, I was looking at the schedule in the playoffs. I mean, for the Vikings, it could be basically, it could be Packers-Lions, Packers-Lions again, with the only difference being the Lions game the second time around would be in Minnesota, assuming they win on Sunday night, which I fully believe they will. I mean, I've become a believer, and it happened again for me in the second half of that Cardinals game. I just had like a quiet confidence they're going to win that game, and I felt that way every week since then, and I think that's going to apply Sunday night. And I don't know what's come over me. It's kind of like Scrooge on Christmas morning. I fully believe it's going to happen in the postseason as well, all the way through to the end.
Wow.
Call me stupid, call me drunk, call me whatever. Just don't call me Shirley. But you probably didn't get that reference, but I believe in the Vikings.
So, all the way to the end.
Let's all gritty in the Crescent City.
I mean, like the end.
Sailing Bud's ship to a championship.
That's the Super Bowl. So you think the Vikings are going to?
Well, yeah, that's what they call the last game of the NFL season. I know you've been doing this for a while. It's good to know you finally connected the dots on that's what that means. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, well, I mean, it's not a boom and gloom type piece of surprise. You generally don't cast your gaze that far down the road on something like that. So I'm taken aback a little bit.
Well, you know, look, and here's the thing. It's funny because I have different Vikings fans out there who try to tell me that I'm not a Vikings fan or tell me how to act as a Vikings fan. And my advice to all of them is shove it up your butt sideways. I'll be whatever I want to be.
Jeez.
I've been whatever I want to be for the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all the scars to show for it every season, starting with Super Bowl 8, continuing with Super Bowl 9, continuing with Drew Pearson pushing off on Nate Wright, and for whatever reason, Paul Krause not being back there to help out, continuing with Super Bowl 11, continuing with losses in the NFC Championship in 1977, 1987, 1998, 2000, 2009, and 2017. I wear all those scars, and I choose optimism at this stage. And am I setting myself up for another disappointment? I don't care. I got 50 years of them.
Right.
So this is a found money season. This is something that no one expected, and they keep getting better and better. And right now they're good enough to beat anyone, including the Kansas City Chiefs. And I choose to believe that they'll keep winning. I choose to believe it. I feel like there's something special going on. They're healthy at the right time. They keep getting better and better between JJ and Jordan Addison and Justin Naylor or Jalen Naylor, and TJ Hawkinson. It's an incredible array of weapons, and the offensive line's getting better and better, even without Christian Darrisaw out there, and the defense is what it is. I'm just going to enjoy it. My son gave me good advice several weeks ago. Just quit worrying about it and just enjoy it.
A big easy party when we host the Lombardi.
Your cohort, Jason Garrett.
That last one's kind of a stretch.
All right, 3-2.
Hang on to leads and grab some beads.
What do you think of that one?
Nah, that's
okay, one more.
Sometimes you just stop with one.
One more.
Mission complete on Bourbon Street.
How about that?
That's not bad.
And since you went through all those years,
59th time's the charm.
yeah, that's a nice common thread. Jason Garrett, your cohort on TV last night, compared the Vikings to the Chiefs, since you brought both teams up, in that they find ways to win, yet leave games with obvious things on which to work. Now, being latched to the Chiefs at this stage of the equation, that ain't a bad thing, right?
Well, I mean, the Chiefs are 15-1 and the Vikings are 14-2. They're the top two teams in the NFL right now. So, look, there is no dominant team in the NFL. There are no 85 Bears out there. The best teams are packed together. And the question is, are you good enough? Are you balanced enough to outscore the opposition, whoever it may be? How do you match up with whoever it may be? What can you do defensively to confound the opposing offense? And let's remember, it's three phases. And if there's anything to be worried about right now, it's Will Reichard and his propensity for stoinking the ball, whether it's off the crossbar or the upright. That's not good. And I was saying yesterday, maybe they need to bring back John Parker, Tony Romo, and have him available in the event that Will's gotten the yips in his time back since he emerged from IR.
Couple here to close from Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com. Generally Wednesdays, but super cool to join us on Monday with a New Year's Day Wednesday. So say the Vikings lose Sunday and don't get that one and have to head to Tampa.
They won't lose.
Okay.
They won't lose.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, it depends upon which team shows up. They have the propensity to not be a playoff team, and then they have the ability to play like a playoff team. And I was talking to Baker Mayfield yesterday after their 48-14 win over the Panthers, and I said, when do you know it's going to be just one of those days and everything's clicking? And he said he can feel it during pregame warm-ups, and I would assume the converse is true as well. If something's off in pregame warm-ups, then, it's not going to work out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So when the Lions go on the road as the 5 seed, they're either going to go to Tampa Bay, Atlanta, or L.A. And if the Rams lose, 3-2-1, if the Rams lose and the Bucs win, the Rams are the 4 seed. You could have Lions at Rams, and the Rams gave the Lions everything they could handle week 1 and in the playoffs last year in Detroit. You could have Lions-Bucs, and the Bucs beat the Lions in week 2. The Bucs are capable of winning at home in the wild card round. Look what they did to the Eagles last year. So that just underscores the stakes here. From advancing through the wild card round entirely to getting an assignment to go to Tampa Bay or Atlanta or LA as the road team with the mandate to win and then see where the bracket sends you the next week based upon what happens with the other wild card games. The stakes are ridiculously high, and a week from now we'll know that the Lions are the ones who are going to Tampa, Atlanta, or LA.
Lastly, Kevin O'Connell is 26-9 in one-score games, 9-1 this season. The 26-9, Mike, already is second best in NFL history, behind Hall of Fame coach Guy Chamberlain from back in the day. Will all this
talking about percentage? It's win percentage?
Yep, it's a win percentage, minimum 25 games coached, and yesterday he coached his 50th game, so this is a real thing. 26-9, second best in NFL history percentage-wise.
Who?
Yeah, right. Guy Chamberlain, 1922.
Yeah. Wow, yippee.
Well,
okay.
but the one right by the two behind O'Connell are luminary-like names. But will all this experience?
Well, who are they?
I can't remember. It's on my depth chart. Will all this experience in the meat grinder potentially help the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs?
I think it does. And I can't think of anyone who comes to mind. Oh, the Eagles a couple of years ago. The Eagles had it so easy in postseason. 49ers 3 years before that. Two of the teams that were felled by the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, up 10 points in the second half and couldn't hold on. When it's too easy for you, and then all of a sudden you're in a meat grinder, you don't have any experience making it through that. Like if you happen to be ahead of the Chiefs double digits in the second half and Patrick Mahomes does what he always does, can you hold him off? The Vikings are a team that perhaps can, because that whole here it comes again when you're dealing with the Chiefs. You know, here it comes again. The Chiefs feel it, the opponent feels it. It's a real thing. But for the Vikings, if they're up 10 or 17 or 28 or whatever it may be, and here come the Chiefs, the Vikings can say, here it comes again, because we're going to do it again, because we've done it X number of times this year. So, yeah, I think it's real. I think it's beneficial. And that's the one thing that I like most about yesterday's game. Still got the win, but at the same time, no one's going to be complacent. And the team had another example of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, yada, yada, insert cliche here. It's better than winning 27-10 the way it turned out yesterday.
All right, buddy. Happy New Year to you and your family, and I'll see you on the field Sunday night at Ford Field in the Motor City Davie. Thank you very much.
This is Detroit.
Yeah.
This is not the Super Bowl. This is Detroit.
This is Detroit, and one of those two teams.
For the Super Bowl is a practical matter.
Yeah, I mean, if one of those two teams, or even this NFC North is just so deep and tough that the Super Bowl team coming out of this division, I don't think it would surprise many people. Certainly you.
Hey, one last thing. I hope you don't have a hard break. One last thing. I told my son today, we are going to every playoff game we can get to, and a lot of it hinges on my schedule and when I have NBC duty, but week by week, and if it runs or when it runs to the NFC Championship, we'll be there. But we're going to all of the games we can go to.
And
Can't wait.
If tickets are too difficult, we will make room for you in the Vox box. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
You're going to regret that.
See you, my brother, Mike Florio. PFT, yeah, you know we.
New Orleans Cajun, Super Bowl ragin'.
News du Nord with Mad Producer around the corner, top of the hour. We replay the montage and the drive-bys. And 1 hour from now, Parker Fox makes his weekly appearance in the Love Covenant. You're listening to 9 to Noon.
Head over to NFLshop.com for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
All righty, we News du Nord, Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Love you. Do we need to slow our roll on this Vikings-Lions game?
No.
It's Monday.
Well, no, okay.
And they still got to play tonight. And, I mean, during the drive-bys, you're walking in making bold proclamations. I'm putting a wet blanket on it just to settle us down.
Yeah, you hurt me a little bit.
And
I needed that. I needed that, though.
But I mean, it's so early in the week. We got to build the crescendo. Now we got Mike Florio. He's never done anything like what he just did on the radio.
I was mildly shocked by it.
In the 20-plus years he's joined 9 to Noon or 10 to 1 just for fun, AM 1130, KFAN. He said, this is it. The Vikings are going to the Super Bowl. And he also said the Vikings are winning Sunday against Detroit. He never says things like that.
Well, and that's after I walked in this morning while we were airing the drive-bys. Great chats. That was your version of the flu game, battling the voice. If they win on Sunday, and they do have home field advantage in this muddy-ass NFC, Bucs are dropping. I know they're the Carolina Panthers. Baker can play.
Yeah.
Like, that's not just a foregone conclusion. Hey, look at the gaudy record and they got to play on the road. That's so weird. And then, no, that's a good team down there.
Yeah.
To go to SoFi to take on McVay and the Rams and Puka and Cooper and all of that.
The weird factor with O'Connell and the mentor. That's thick. That's just like, okay, maybe we already got through it.
Yeah.
And
I haven't even mentioned Philly yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you win on Sunday, I am really, really starting to think about the idea of going to New Orleans. I am really thinking about it.
Right.
It is only Monday,
right.
So we do have to pace ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking about it.
What would happen if you were a member of the Minnesota Vikings and you were in a team meeting and like somebody asked you your opinion on that? You said it loudly enough for everybody to hear it in the room. Flies right in the face of the 1-0 bid of each week's 1-0.
Well, that's why I could never be an employee of the Minnesota Vikings because I'd be too emotional. It's working as a team. It's, every game is its own story.
That's awesome.
It's day by day, brick by brick, etc. It's like, no, that's not how it's working.
Right.
If the Vikings win on Sunday, they will go to the Bayou.
Yeah.
That is how this thing can line up.
Gritty in the Crescent City.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
jeez.
With Vikings Eagles, and it would be here. It would be here, right?
Well, under the pretense that we are the top seed, yes.
Oh yeah,
so it would be here.
Oh, if we lose,
ultimately we would be the 5 seed. So we would be on the road at Philly.
We ain't gonna trip on that. You know why? Just let this hit you at face value.
Okay.
All right. Sirianni versus O'Connell.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I'll say that
he may not beat him on the field, but he'll try to beat him up in midfield. He might want to start a fight.
I don't think it can be overplayed what that environment is in Philly in the playoffs. And I don't want to go there. And they can be, the Eagles are such a talented team. And we're going to talk about one of those guys who just crossed a major historical threshold statistically in the NFL, and Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts can beat anybody. They have the guys. They have the dogs on defense, the Jalen Carters of the world. Cooper DeJean is up to speed, and they're handling business. But something is broken with that group, PA, and I think it starts with Sirianni. Sirianni might just be a turd, and I think that Kevin O'Connell, certainly in the coaching ranks, is better. But I'm always going to give reverence and respect to the combination of the physical way that Jalen Hurts can take over a game and the historical season that Saquon has had. That's why I'm just framing it up like this. If the Vikings win on Sunday and all roads go through Minneapolis en route to the connection flight to New Orleans, it will be the home team on that flight to New Orleans. Let's do this damn thing.
And if Philadelphia happens to be somewhere in between, Saquon, though.
Tomlinson and Tonga inside for the Vikings on first down. A flip left to Barkley. Turns it up past the line of scrimmage, and he gets loose. 20-15-10, and a touchdown for the New York Giants. It's a 28-yard piece of excellent running by Saquon Barkley.
How about that?
28 for 26, and it's 7-6 Minnesota.
Hey, did you see... now just put a cap on this and then we'll move on. News to North. Thank you, Canterbury. So they're going to be having that nightmare for however many years to come if you're John Mara and your leadership with the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
And Big Blue Wrecking Crew also made his fan base very, very happy yesterday by winning the game and jacking with the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
It appears as though they will now no longer even have the top pick in the draft.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it sounds like it. So... news to Nord. We're going to start with the Minnesota Wild. They were tied at 1 yesterday against Ottawa. Almost said Owatonna. Josh Norris broke the tie for the visiting Senators. Late third on the power play. An empty netter made it 3-1. Worthy excitement of the OT win in Dallas on Friday. Couldn't get through the Senators. No Kaprizov in the mix right now. Boldy, it sounds like he's been middling for quite a while. It was cool, though, that Eriksson Ek is back, so that's important. I'll admit, doing Fanline, I didn't see the game, but hosting the Predators tomorrow, excited to hear from head coach John Hines to open 9 to noon.
Yeah, 9 to noon at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. The only break from football will be Wild head coach John Hines right out of the gate. And tomorrow, Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, makes his weekly stop into the Covenant. That'll be at 11 a.m.
To the Wolves.
Paul sets the screen. Wemby, one dribble. He terminates. Back to Paul up top on the logo with 5. Now with 4. Off the Wemby screen. Back to his left. Sohan fakes the pass. Lines up the 3. Missed it. Rebound loose. Vassell's got it. Put back is good, but wave it off. It didn't get off in time. I think this game's over.
It was over. I do got to play that beginning, though. It just makes me laugh about Wembanyama.
Paul sets the screen. Wemby, one dribble. He terminates.
Yeah, Wemby, one dribble, and he's past half the freaking court. Yeah. Wembanyama, a unicorn. And he went big last night, 30-some. Vassell, you heard him on the putback and the highlight. Very good night for him now that he's healthy. Spurs kind of got a little bit of a squad thing happening down there. They just figured this is going to be like the third or fourth generation of Pops making elite high-end teams out of new players. But it wasn't good enough. The Wolves win 112-110. And I'm wondering, PA, the next time we talk to Finch, or just as we watch these games play out, will this potentially be the DiVincenzo game, PA, where last night he's 5 of 10 from deep on a night when Ant couldn't find his shot from distance? You get out alive. You battled and beat Dallas. Merry Christmas to everybody.
How about that?
You battle and beat the Houston Rockets, and now you do this last night, coming through at least in the clutch in the moments when you needed to win. And we're going to find out tomorrow, New Year's Eve. It's going to be fun. You got Wild and Preds, but you got Wolves in the OKC. So that's going to be a metal tester.
Oh, wow.
But
then day after, so January 2nd, Thursday, Celtics.
Correct.
C's here, coach running on court down in front of Finchy.
Oh, and Ant's going to have it. Yeah, was that Joe Mazzulla?
Yeah, remember he tripped out.
Yeah, Celtics can do whatever they want.
Hold on here, and if you don't know, then I apologize for putting you in the spot. At Scoreboard Central, Muss, in the second half, he's doing some scores on the KFAN Vikings radio network.
Yeah.
And then he drops this bit that the Wolves game's delayed until 8 because they had to replace the entire floor in short order in front of the game. Any idea what happened?
I do not know. There was a special court. I think they have different design and layouts and such. I believe it was like maybe their city edition court, and then they changed to their core court.
Oh,
the long answer short, I think it. I don't know. There you go. Actually, I could have just said that and saved about 20 seconds.
Yeah, my bad.
I saw the news, did not dig deep onto it.
Either did I.
And but regardless of the hardwood that they played on, they found their way to victory last night against San Antonio. I want to play this highlight for you, and just kind of a domino effect in the NFL of what transpired in the late game last evening.
London and Pitts to the left, showing pressure. Penix straight drop, throws, end zone. It is caught. Kyle Pitts, touchdown Atlanta.
Man, I was so frustrated with Kyle Pitts last night. There were a couple of moments where Penix couldn't have run down the field and handed it to him, and he would have held on to it.
Yeah.
But he held on to that one, the game-tying touchdown. Jaden Daniels, fantastic night for him, did have a pick. But the Commanders get out alive in overtime and win, and they're an 11-win team. They're in the playoffs. But there's kind of a domino effect of this from a Viking standpoint, PA, is if we win on Sunday, the Vikings are the top seed in the NFC. If they do not, then they're the 5 seed. Mm-hmm. And they potentially could go to the Bucks, who just put, again, almost 50 on Thielen and the Panthers.
Bucks get the Saints to close, right?
That is correct. And it is a win and in for Baker and the Bucks. The Saints barely look like an NFL team right now. Yeah. They don't have a head coach. The whole thing, everyone's old. Yeah, Rattler
sucks.
Rattler is ratty. And the Commanders, the Falcons here, I believe they close out
Carolina.
They do close out with Carolina, yes.
And it's easy to say that because of the divisions have to play each other closing week.
Yep.
And by the way, I would just like to take 8 seconds to to thank or congratulate the individual or individuals who came up with this idea whenever they came up with the idea that the NFL, because we're having weird games with a lot of people sitting at the ends of the years.
Yep.
And it's messing with a lot of different things. Whomever constructed the idea to have divisions play each other in that last week. I mean, it ain't great. It ain't great every single year, but this year it counts.
Yeah, so it was indeed. There was an issue with their city edition court.
Oh.
And it was discovered during the morning shoot around, so they had to delay the tip to put their core court back on Target Center. So that's a late covenant cleanup, or at least a clear up.
Yeah, thank you.
But as part of this final weekend, so you need Penix, who had that drive last night. I just played that, but Penix kind of looks pretty smooth out there. Penix making mistakes and those things, the skittishness of a rookie. Penix can ball a little bit. And this team, again, we talked about it. They knew that the gravity of the situation, the risk of potentially losing out on the playoffs if they were going to make this move from Kirk to Penix. Penix is vibing right, and
yes.
he was really good last night in moments.
His arm strength is terrific.
So I'm just going to potentially word vomit and confuse the listener base with a couple of things here, NFC playoff wise.
Well, we were Falcons fans last night, right?
100%.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Falcons in my covenant simply because Morris O'Connell, though, and the fact that you already beat them.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got to go there. The Vikings would be a 90% win probability, at least in my estimation, even if they had to go on the road and play in the ATL.
I infinitely, now if you win on Sunday and the Lions have to go to Tampa.
Oh, okay.
Who stymied and stifled the Lions earlier this year at Ford Field.
Right.
And now Baker's got a home game against a riddled, injury-laden Lions team, but that's a different thing. So here's what's going on.
See, we got to win on Sunday, man.
Just win.
It's the Buccaneers. With Captain Cool, in the pandemic bit, Heineke almost beats them with Washington, but then they go and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Vita Vea, I mean, they have more than a handful of players who are on that Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
Bowles he's an elite defensive mind.
Yes.
I mean, he stymied some good offenses during his head coaching run. They got a good offense. Ain't nobody looking to get stymied.
No, not at all.
Here's what win.
Here's what happened. So, Commanders winning last night, along with a myriad other things, including Vikings and Bills getting wins. That clinched the division for the Rams.
Oh.
So the Rams are now in the playoffs no matter what.
Softy Squad dead.
Softy Squad has been eliminated.
Damn.
However, the Rams need to win to assure themselves of the third seed.
Oh.
So things are still a little bit fluid in terms of Rams winning in, they're the third seed, already division winners.
Yeah.
But if the Bucs were to beat the Saints and the Rams lose to Softy's team, the Bucs are the third seed, and the Rams fall to the 4 spot, which would be the destination of the loser of Sunday night's game, Vikings and Lions. So you're playing that game.
We got to win Sunday, man.
We got to win Sunday.
Well, yeah, because, hey, pick your poison here. Would you prefer to travel west and take on the team A that already beat you, the coach that was your mentor, and the quarterback who has some HOF to him who won a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Or travel east and hook the beef eater Vita Vea, who knows how to ruin everything like he did in the Super Bowl. And, oh, by the way, he plays fullback.
I'm not interested in any of that.
Either am I.
So we just have to win.
I'm interested in a few days off, chilling. Heading up to a divisional round game at the Palatial Purple Paradise. I don't care against who. I mean, those fans yesterday, man, Covenant class for you. You were on
how good.
Fire.
How good were they? The last element to that. So watching, again, Rams win and they're the third. You play that out a little bit. The Commanders, who they got to go to Dallas. I don't know, they just absolutely are petering out to the finish line. Cooper Rush, whatever. I mean, they can, McCarthy's trying to win to save face maybe, but
nice defense.
The Commanders, if they win, they are locked into the 6th spot, which would push the Packers to Philadelphia wild card weekend.
Oh, wow.
So
Keyshawn Nixon against A.J. Brown. Good luck with that.
Well,
seriously, good luck with that.
If you're a Vikings fan, and in the essence, in the spirit of the border battle, maybe you're rooting for the Commanders on Sunday as well. That would force the Packers to Philly on Wild Card Weekend.
And that, I mean, you laid it out beautifully. That was a lot. And I think I mostly understand it. However, I do believe
the thing about the stuff.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things?
Stafford caught a stray.
Well, that's just keep it simple then. Win on Sunday, PA, and we'll let the rest of the NFC figure out Wild Card Weekend.
Here's the deal. Into the final hour. If you missed the Happy Feelings montage put together by Mad Producer, A, it was good, and B, we're going to play it back. And if you missed the drive-bys from Garrett Bradbury through The Gink is on Fire, we're going to play those back too. That's all around the corner on your home for 14 and 2 radio, FM 100.3, KFAN.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music.
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
Hey, Meta, call Eva.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smart glasses.
Make someone's season unforgettable with the Vizio 40-inch FHD Smart TV. Now just $148 at Walmart. Movie night just got better with stunning full HD clarity. Plus, enjoy Watch Free Plus right out of the box with over 300 channels of live and on-demand entertainment, all for free. And when you're in the mood for music, just fire up the iHeartRadio app. Whether it's a gift for someone special or a treat for yourself, this TV makes upgrading a breeze. Don't wait. Head to Walmart and grab the Vizio 40-inch FHD Smart TV for just $148 today.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s Radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This December, get cozy on the couch with Charlie's Angels starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Looper starring Bruce Willis and Emily Blunt. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.